Many things have changed since we first put out our choice of which is the better Battle Pass Lightcone to pick. New Lightcones, we even have an entirely new path as well out in Honkai Star Rail. So in this video, I want to share with you my honest thoughts of which is the best Battle Pass Lightcone to pick, or even, is it even worth it to pick it up at all? Now, I don't want to waste any of your time. As you know, on this channel, we are always very straight to the point. So a quick summary of all of them. In my opinion, the best and most versatile Lightcone of all of them is going to be Today is Another Peaceful Day, the Erudition Lightcone. The reason why this is so good and probably going to be my top pick is because this is a generic max energy scaling. So whatever you are doing, it gives you damage based on your max energy. Erudition characters generally have quite high energy, with the exception of perhaps Serval, who has like 100, 110 burst, but most of them will have a lot of energy. And even if you have very little energy, you can still get some value because every point of energy increases the damage that you do. Not basic attack damage, not follow-up attack damage, not some sort of damage here and there, is every single damage. So it's not even very niche. So this is going to be my top pick. Today is Another Peaceful Day. If you are buying a battle pass for the first time, I highly recommend you pick this one up. It's just super versatile as well. The bigger question, of course, is do you go all the way to Super Imposition 5? In my opinion, the one that is the best to push to Super Imposition 5 for any of you like Whaley guys who like really buy an entire years of Battle Pass, in that case, this is also the first candidate that you want to push to Super Imposition 5 because you get a lot more value out of every energy and it's just so versatile. So this will be my recommendation for the first pick as well as first pick to Super Imposition 5. Now, where it becomes a bit trickier is the second pick. There are a lot of people going to debate which is the better ones, and I would say depending on your 4-star roster, it does change quite a bit. But let me first tell you and share with you my honest opinion of my second pick. If I were to restart Honkai Star Rail right now, or even if I was a late game player right now, the Remembrance Lightcone is going to be my second pick. Now, on first glance, this just seems to be just a DPS Lightcone, but you must look into perspective of two things. One, we do not have too many Remembrance Lightcones available in the game right now, and two, this is actually a pretty versatile Lightcone. Why do I say that? It has 529 base attack, which is quite high compared to a lot of the other Lightcones in the game currently. Most of the 4-stars are like 470 plus. This gives you a nice amount of crit rate of 12% at Super Imposition 1. At the same time, it gives you a very generic wearer member sprites on Sphere, which most Remembrance characters will. You increase the damage dealt by the wearer and their member sprite by 24%, which is very universal. It's not like specific to follow attacks, specific to basic attack instances or whatever not. So I really like this a lot. Super versatile. It is catered a little bit more for DPS, but that is not a big issue. Why do I say that? It's because if you are wondering, oh, it's going to be niche because it is fitting mainly in the DPS category. If you look at the Lightcone roster that we have currently in the game in terms of Remembrance Lightcone, the free-to-play Memory Curtain Never Falls, which has the same base attack, is more catered to a bit more of a supportive aspect. So if you are running a support, you can take this Herta Shop Lightcone and slap it on that unit, and then you can take the Battle Pass Lightcone over here, Sweat Now Cry Less, and slap it on your DPS instead, which is really very nice. So you can cover the entirety of Remembrance just with a free-to-play Lightcone and one Battle Pass Lightcone. That is why I think the Remembrance Lightcone is going to be my second pick. And other than that, the other Lightcones, there are really not too many. You only have like 2 4-star Lightcones and not too many efficient ones for a DPS right now. So I think it gives you a lot of value. As the time goes by, perhaps it will change, but I would still rank it as one of my top 3 for sure in the long run. Now, moving on, and of course, if you're finding value in this video so far, you like our content, do remember to like and subscribe for more such future content so this video can reach out to more people out there as well. Now, we talked about 2 of them already. Let's talk about the remaining. I want to come from the perspective of both an experienced player and a new player. Perhaps you already have a lot of Lightcones. There are a lot of Battle Pass Lightcones that are kind of useless, if I will be frank. And instead of going in order like first, second, third, let's talk about the useless ones, which I will probably not recommend anyone pick up. So the Destructions Lightcone is one of them. I really don't like this Lightcone. One of the reasons is because it gives you attack percentage, which if a character scales off of HP, this is barely any use. It restores HP equal to 12% of their attack, which is nice as well. But if you look at the HP sapping characters, even like Blade, very few of them actually need this. And even if they can use this, there are a lot of better best in slots. So this Nowhere to Run is really quite crummy, quite shitty. In my opinion, I'll put this as a really, really low priority. I don't think this is really very good, unless of course you're just a collector and looking to finish it up. So Nowhere to Run, probably one of the worst in the game. The other few that I think are quite bad as well is possibly this one, We Will Meet Again. When you use basic attack skill, deal additional damage equal to 48% of the wearer's attack to a random enemy that has been attacked. If you are a Nihility character, you are likely aiming to debuff enemies, so you want perhaps effect hit rate, perhaps you want some sort of additional debuffs in the kit. This does nothing except one additional instance of 48% of attack damage. So unless you're running a DPS Nihility character, not that good. And even DPS Nihility characters, there are a lot of better Lighcones in the game available. Free to play ones, you also have great ones which gives you the stats that they need, whether it's like break effect, whether it's perhaps some kind of DOT damage increase. So this We Will Meet Again, not very good. I don't think it's even in the best in slot for any character at all in the game. Maybe not even top 3 for any character. So Nihility Destruction, probably, in my opinion, the worst tool based on function and design. Now the remaining of them, the third worst, if I were to say, is not because the Lightcone is not that good, but it's because there are a lot of better alternatives. And the Abundance Lightcone is an example of something that you need to take into context of the other Lightcones in the game. So although it has a pretty nice stat, this is actually a pretty decent Lightcone if you look at it in isolation. Good amounts of 16% max HP increase, basic attack or skill restores allies HP 2% of their respective max HP, which is theoretically what you want from an Abundance character, but in reality is not really super strong. So 2% of respective max HP for your allies. If you are healing a Fu Xuan, maybe it's 200, and you can keep healing at 200, which is quite nice, I would say. Quite decent, but overall I don't think it's worth picking up if you are spending $10. If it's your first $10 that you're pumping into the game in your battle pass, this is probably not a super high priority. There are a lot of other Abundance Lightcones, free ones, 4-star ones that you pick up along the way that are also super versatile. Even the free to play Quid Pro Quo is also a lot more useful in terms of versatility. I would say Warm Shorten the Cold Knights is like bottom 3 in my opinion. So we talked about a lot already. Abundance, Nihility, Destruction, bottom 3, Erudition, Remembrance, all done. The last 3 over here, Preservation, Hunt, and Harmony. In my opinion, these 3 are more or less on par. And I'll explain to you which one ages out for you guys. The more niche one is going to be the Preservation Lightcone. This is me. There is a use for this Lightcone if you are running a DPS unit that scales with defense. For example, like a DPS March, increases wearer's defense by 16%, increases the damage of the wearer when they use their ult by 60% of wearer's defense. Could also be useful for Argenti if you are, Aventurine if you're trying to hit certain thresholds as well, because it does give you nice amounts of defense, does give you good amounts of damage. This is decent, but a bit niche. So unless you are looking to play a niche build, this is probably quite okay, but it will be, in my opinion, not be in my top 4 for sure. The last 2, these are really strong, is the Hunt and Harmony Lightcone. Now let's talk about the Hunt one first before going to the Harmony. Personally, I would rate this as my top 3. I really like this Lightcone a lot. I think it's super underrated. Return to Darkness. The reason for this is increasing crit rate is nice, 12%. But more importantly, you have the Cruising the Stellar Sea, the free-to-play Herta Shop Lightcone. So that already gives you a lot of check for your DPS. But instead of competing with Cruising the Stellar Sea, this turns your Hunt character into a support. After hitting a crit, you have a chance to dispel 1 buff on an enemy target, triggers 1 time per attack, but Hunt characters move very often, they hit with many instances, so you are able to turn your Hunt characters into a debuffer as well, which is fantastic because now you have a versatility of turning your DPS into some sort of utility character if you needed to. And anything that changes characters' playstyles and makes them more versatile is a huge plus in my opinion. I would say Return to Darkness is my top 5, just for the fact that it doesn't compete in the DPS category, which you already have a pretty decent one in Cruising the Stellar Sea, the Herta Shop free Lightcone. Last but not least is the Harmony one. In my opinion, this one ranks in the middle, like ranks 4th. Why is that? It's because there are a lot of other Harmony Lightcones that are super good. You have Dance, you have Planetary Rendezvous, and etc. This one here, it is okay. It gives you a bit of an RNG of attack, crit damage, as well as energy regen, which is nice. If you like the RNG, I think it's really fine. But overall, for the fact that it's a bit of a luck gamble, some of your characters might not need attack. Some of them, if you're playing to like break teams, you might not need crit damage. In that case, perhaps some of the stats are not very useful. Rather than being able to pick the Lightcone and the buff that you're looking for, like dance, everyone's able to use action advancing. So in my opinion, this is going to rank 4th, but I can see some people ranking it slightly higher depending on the needs of your account, whether you have any other Harmony Lightcones. Because at the end of the day, more important than which is the packing order is to understand your account. What do you need exactly? Do you need a DPS Lightcone, a sustain Lightcone, or whatever not? That's probably going to be more useful for you. But anyways, this is just my personal opinion. If you found this video helpful, you might like these 2 other videos on the channel as well. And thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next video.